Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Play Hearts of Iron 4 Black Ice with me, Alpha Omega and Turkey. So we are on our way to get yet another research slot after we'll finish the Türk Silahlı Kuvvetleri. However, this one is locked behind world tension of at least 9%, which we're not getting at this point. So once we finish the current focus, we are going to revert back to... Well, there's a couple of things that we could do here, but I think we're going to go with the Grand State Factories to private sector, then the city, and then invest in private sector. Actually, we're going to go Grand, invest in private sector, then the city, privatize petroleum, Sivas Railroad, then the Sivas cement factories, and then we'll have to go through this part, which is the adopt Barker report findings. Then this one, which reduces the Ottoman debt and gives us a research bonus. Then there's a lot of building slots. Then we go to easing the government regulations, electronics effort, and then can finally get the Middle East Technical University. What about you? That's another military factories. Okay, and then we have a bunch here. Ready for conflict, develop arms, offensive and defensive mindset, doctrines. We'll have to get... Oh, buy panzers. Nice. Alright. There's some fortifications, but those are, inconsequential right now. So let's unpause it, let the game run. One thing that we need to keep an eye on is our food. It is still okay. I don't know if we can actually figure out somewhere where these start kicking in. I always just have to keep an eye on it and see for myself, because the game doesn't really tell you much. We won't get any more food from the system, and we have already established that building the farms is extremely expensive, because when you build a farm, it gives you extra 10 production, but also it costs 12,800. If I wanted to import food, you get 10 for one, actually 20 for one civilian factory. So it is definitely worth it to rather build civilian factories and import food and not, go through this. We also need to get the theorist. We get the army command Kazım Orbay, but we don't have the theorist that would give us the army experience that we need. But we do have a significant amount of naval experience now. Did we finish? Yes, we finished one of the submarines. So I'll actually add you there, and we'll see if we can design a new one. Oh, actually we got 2 events now. So Honduras withdraws from the League of Nations. The League now has to cope with the next severe blow. After Guatemala on 27th of May and Nicaragua on the 27th of June, Honduras now also declared its withdrawal from the illustrious Circle of Nations on the 10th of July. Asked about the reasons, the Latin American state declares in unison that small nations have nothing good to expect from the League. More plausible seems to be the fact that although previously the concept of collective security remained abstract, with the Abyssinian War and the decision to apply sanctions against Italy, responsibilities for the members of the League of Nations suddenly became very real. For Latin American countries, such responsibilities meant jeopardizing their trade relations in times of economic crisis and their traditional friendships with the Alpine country. It will be interesting to see how countries in similar positions like Chile or Venezuela will react to this development. So how far are we with the production of the other batch of submarines? We're gonna come soon. Alright, we'll look at that next. Austria and Germany signs agreement. Austria and Germany signed an agreement that established Austria's full sovereignty and recognized her as the German state. The pact, which was seen as a significant step towards a unification of Germany, also obliged Austria to pursue policies that were in line with Germany's interest. In return, Germany promised to respect Austria's independence and sovereignty. The agreement, which was signed by Austrian Chancellor Kurt Schuschnigg and the German Foreign Minister Joachim von Ribbentrop included a provision that stated that each government would regard the internal political conditions of the other as a domestic concern and would not exert any direct or indirect influence on it. The agreement was hailed by both countries as a valuable contribution to the peaceful development of Europe. Many countries, however, viewed the agreement with suspicion, seeing it as a possible prelude to German expansionism. The signing of the pact was met with protests from Czechoslovakia, Yugoslavia, and other nations that feared the strengthening of Germany's position in Europe. Well, no wonder. No wonder. Alright, now let's have the game running, but let me check the submarine. So the good class. We were thinking about adding the mine-laying rails there. What kind of torpedoes are you using? 543, alright. If we added more tubes and more tubes here, the hydrophone is fine. And the mine-laying rails, that would be 12. Refit costs quite a lot, but it would work. How much does the original GUR cost? 717. Okay, so let's make this 1946 GUR class refit. And have you build just one. And I actually believe we might have all of you upgraded to the good class, couldn't we? Yes, we can. 449 days to complete. I mean, we do want to do that, don't we? I mean, it is a little bit of waste, but look at that. Like, our submarines really are not that good, so I think we're gonna do it nonetheless. Let's send you to refit and have you at least a little bit effective. The Spanish Civil War just started. A civil war has erupted in Spain. Several generals seeking to overthrow the current government in Madrid have issued a pronunciamiento, and a large portion of the Spanish armed forces have answered their call to arms. This right-wing nationalist faction has occupied much of Spain, including the overseas territories. Whilst forces and volunteers have assembled under the left-wing Republican government, determined to resist the putsch to their last breath. The battle for Spain has begun. Now, do we have any options to get involved? No. Alright, well, that's fair. But actually, I could also directly have a look if I cannot send expeditionary forces. No. Alright. Kind of surprised that this doesn't really increase tensions much, though. That I would have expected would be way more dramatic. But oh well. Well, we have to do this one first. So grant state factories to private sector. Basically, we lose two civilian factories, but gain 8, which is pretty good. That's a pretty good deal, if you ask me. Especially since, you know, it's not such a major loss for us. So it's pretty good. What kind of UI do we need to initialize? Yeah, that's fine. We do have chromium. I mean, I keep calling it chromium, but in this mod it's alloying metals. Food to market, I wish we could lower that. Alright, what other kinds of refits could we do for construction? Because we have the destroyers, Kudjattepe, Zafars. I suspect we have a different destroyer available, right? No, we have the Zafar, okay. No anti-air. You don't have anything in this regard. So adding these two would already mean that it costs more, but the refit would be fairly cheap. So trying torpedoes, we could make these a little bit more dominant though, couldn't we? 346, that would be still fine. And we could refit everyone to the Zafars, because the destroyers and submarines are probably the best that we can count with, for most part anyway. Alright, you guys are still getting what you need. You guys are the actual lost part of that artillery. So as I mentioned, I mean we really cannot do much here other than add the factories. So we'll have 10 more. So let's start by adding 4 and 4. And then we wanted to add 2 to produce the Topraks. I guess that makes sense in a way it is. This is dramatically gonna help with the production of infantry equipment and uniforms. As I mentioned, anything below 1000 days is gonna be good. Actually, you guys are kinda doing alright. So maybe I could go like this. That would cut it down, say, to about 500 days. I could add that additional factory on the artillery, because the artillery is the thing that's really bothering us right now, isn't it? Yeah, 1700 days. We need to push these numbers down as much as we can and have them work in a better way. So what can we do now? Oh hey, no, wait, we can do something. Economic support for the Republicans. Economic support for the industrial support for the Republicans. And I really think we ought to do both of these. It's gonna cost us. It's gonna give us a lot of war support and a little bit of political power. And army experience, but it's gonna cost us 275. The steel is a bit more of an issue, because I would have to import more. When's that? That one's gonna take a while, but okay, you know what? We're gonna go do it. If only for the reasons that we do want to actually be a little bit more of a aggressive nation in this playthrough. So let's just do this. So we could change. We gained a little bit of political power for it as well. Oh, nice. Poland, Mexico, Czechoslovak Republic. We're actually fighting in this one against Germany, aren't we? Because they are supporting the Spanish state. Liberal, and we are supporting the. Wait, no, we're supporting the Republic? And I'm confused. Yes, we are supporting the Spanish Republic. And Germany is supporting the Spanish state. Oh, even the United States joined in. Good. So trade-wise, steel. Yeah, we would be missing a little bit of steel, but it's... Actually, I think the moment we finish the submarine, we can kill the production. Because we will get kill the production. We can kill one of the imports, because we will have 17. And we don't really need that much. The upgrades, I think, are without any steel need. Wait, well, they do need 1. So that's not exactly that dramatic. Alright, so you can start producing yet another civilian factory here. Let's finish that. The games of the 11th Olympiad. The 11th Olympiad The 11th Olympic Games, let's just be precise in the pronunciation, the 11th Olympic Games were recently held in Berlin, Germany. Attended by athletes from 49 different nations across the world, the 1946 Summer Olympics are the first in history to have enjoyed limited live television coverage. The Games were a significant propaganda victory for the German regime, which spent lavishly on the event. German athletes saw the most successes, winning 33 gold medals, while the Americans came in second with 24. 4 of these were won by Jesse Owens, the single most successful athlete of the Games. So we have now finished the combat engineers. It's 3rd of August. So what else could we get? I'm tempted to go with the anti-tank, but again, producing it at this point is a little bit of a overkill. Well, we will definitely need this one, so let's get it. I mean, we're not gonna produce it or anything, but we're gonna get it off the table. Motorizing infantry is the second stage towards the mechanization of our army. Civilian trucks are readily adaptable to military uses for transporting soldiers, towing guns, and carrying equipment and supplies. This greatly increases the strategic mobility of infantry, which would otherwise rely on marching. You can actually add someone. Istanbul Military Industries, IMI. Alright, let's do that. I mean, it is in our best interest to develop these. And let's have a little look at the combat engineers, because we will definitely want to have them over here. So they will increase defense, breakthrough, soft attack, hard attack. They cost infantry equipment, field uniforms, support equipment, so nothing dramatic. Yet they give a massive bonus when fighting in hills and other places. But hills is what we're going to be using them for the most. Alright, fuel is doing good. Rations, are we still fine? Yes, we are still fine. The world engine is 7%. So we're getting fairly close to being able to get that research slot over here. But we'll have to see. Traditional warfare versus mobile warfare. At technology Camry. Finest horses. New tactics. Yeah, I definitely think we're gonna have to go with modern warfare. Yeah, well, we're getting some dockyard. Oh, and we actually get food from this one. So it's a pretty good one. We get shipyard. Diplomatic effort. Well, we shall see. We shall see. So this is going to be a dramatic change to our production line. Let's see how it's going to change. 18.12 and 7.25. For most intentions and purposes, it's probably going to double. .9 and 9.77, and the efficiency is able to increase, and we get even a 1 on the top racks. What's up with the steel suddenly? Oh, what's up with the steel? I'm dumb. What's up with the steel, guys? How come we suddenly have less steel? Man, I'm dumb sometimes. Alright, we're gonna suck up that 1, which doesn't make it slower. How much? Lack of resources, 6.4. No, 27th of Feb. 14th of Feb, yeah, that I'm not importing extra steel for 14 days worth of work. South Africa rejects suggestion of returning German colonies. The Minister of Defense for the Union of South Africa, Mr. Oswald Pirow, stated that his country could never consider the return of Tanganyika or Southwest Africa to Germany under any circumstances. Pirow's statement was made in the context of South Africa's cooperation with the British Empire in the common defence policy. We are at work hand in hand with the rest of the British Empire in a common defence policy, and in this respect South Africa is to be elder brother to the rest of British Africa, Pirow said. He went on to affirm that his country's stance was non-negotiable, adding that the return of the territories to Germany was out of the question. What a bold statement. Okay, considering it's still only 7%, we're gonna go invest in private sector now. It's 25 days, which is gonna be additional to, yeah, and then we're gonna import, because you got 6 extra, so we'll need that. But yeah, I'm gonna produce some more of artillery pieces, and the efficiency is increasing nicely, so this will cut the waiting line in infantry weapons quite significantly. Yeah, we can already see the difference, and we're nowhere near maximum efficiency, so that's good. Uruguay proposes mediation in Spain. Uruguay proposes that the American republics should offer mediation in the Spanish Civil War. Hold on. Oh god, yeah, energy. Alright, that's something that I did not realize. That's a jump. Uruguay argued that the nations of the American continent, which were discovered and civilized by Spain, could not remain passive spectators in a conflict that could have international repercussions. Uruguay suggested that if wars between nations could end in conciliatory solutions, then civil wars should also be able to find a peaceful resolution. The proposal was made in the context of increasing concern in Latin America about the spread of fascism and the possibility of international conflict. Alright, so this actually makes a huge difference for us. What's the power output now? Not much. Alright, when will you be ready? 3rd of November 1936. Okay, well that's gonna take a while. And we're already working on more factories. I should have planned for this. My bad. And it's always how it is. I mean, the penalties should be... yeah, they're nothing major at this point anyway, so we'll see how it's gonna go as we push it a little bit higher. Oh yeah, look at that. The horse transports are almost done. Not that we can kill that immediately, but eventually we're gonna be able... well, maybe we're not gonna be even forced to put more there. But yeah, every single unit needs them. And they usually take massive casualties in any kind of fight. So it's good to build up a significant stockpile. Alright, we just got another unit. Nicely done. Enough manpower? That's nonsense. We have enough manpower, but actually we don't have much. Might want to consider... we might consider extending. And we could extend. That's gonna give us extra 1%. Currently, that's about 100,000 men. That would be useful for a couple of divisions. We'll see. We'll see. How are we doing here? Pretty well. Good for us. And getting a little bit of army experience, which is going to be boosted when we get the right people. Not necessary. Anti-communist raids, election campaign. Nothing. Oh, hello. Excavation 2. This is gonna give us extra iron production. So that actually changes my outlook a little bit because I didn't see it before. Oh, but we need all the way down here, 1949. So that's beside any question at this point. Man Communist Party. Well, not planning that. Come on, Germany, do something. I want that research slot. Get me something. Okay, so you're gonna go directed to the top racks. And again, we're gonna start importing. We're actually suffering a little bit when it comes to this. You know what, I might have been a little bit done with this. 23rd of September. Yeah, let's finish. Well, actually, no, this is gonna make the situation with energy worse. Because they need 5, each military needs 10. Yeah, we would just deepen the issues. We'll finish it afterwards. Alright, so how are we doing on horse transports? With the increase in infantry equipment and uniforms, we might start considering drilling the units very soon. Alright, so the steel is now way more of an issue. So let's get that. You guys will now get to about almost 1 per day when we think about it. How are we in the capacity actually on for field guns? Still got 14, alright. So there's no issue there. Now, considering actually... the city... Silas... I'm thinking what would be the best way to go now, because adding more factories at this point is just gonna make the energy problems worse. So we might try to go through these ones. Which will help with the depth. This one would give us... Yeah, okay, let's go through the depth first. So, this one gives us off-map military and civilian factory, meaning, if I understand it correctly, this should not cost any energy, and we'll get less depth and more research speed and more conservative party support. Unfortunately, we are not a conservative party, but we should be fine. We're still getting the most support, so it's not like we suffer any major issues. So this is gonna jump to like 1.5%, won't it? Okay, you now have more iron. So already it's about 1,000 days, so it's gonna drop to about 600, I would assume at this point. You're gonna drop. Alright, so that allows me at this point to actually start drilling you guys, all of you. That's gonna extensively deplete our stockpiles, but again, it's gonna give us quite a lot of army experience. Well, quite a lot might be an overkill, but it's gonna give us some. This is why I'm really pushing for getting the officer, because then we can start modifying various things that we'll research and get. So it works well for us. Alright, you're gonna get the production efficiency growth, and we're gonna go then with the cap. And then this and this. It's, yes, 85 days. And your additional 6. And you will be done in 114 days. Yes, 113. Alright, so quality control was finished. As I mentioned, now fluorescent lighting. This advancement to the humble light bulb means factories can work longer hours for less energy cost. Again, that's a boost to efficiency, which right now for us is basically 1/9 of our maximum efficiency. That is still really good. Okay, we're getting a little bit more command power here. We won't probably be able to do the support again immediately, but we'll try. I'll try. I mean, it's getting us some army experience. Getting at least a little bit will allow us to start modifying our units. How are you guys doing? 77 progress, so that's pretty good. 2 more units and we'll have the 2 infantry armies we have fully done. Though we don't get much. Yeah, look at that. The stockpile is already dropping. Yeah, but it has to be done. I mean, you know, you cannot fight without a gun or without a uniform. Okay, I think I'm going to stop the episode here. We've done a lot. Europe is amidst the fight. I've never actually seen the Republic win. It would be kind of nice to see that happen once, but I don't think this is going to be a change in pos. I mean, you know, we're on a different side than Germany still at this point. I really... Oh, hey, actually, it changed. Didn't it? No, it still says that they have strategic reasons to be hostile towards us. We'll see. Anyway, thank you very much. See you in the next one.